703.
Hi, yes, I think this is me.
It is you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. Well, thank you for taking my call. My name is Catherine. I'm calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
Catherine from Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes. I'm calling because I wanted to talk to you guys about a specific part of air pollution, specifically toxic air pollutants, or as EPA calls them, hazardous air pollutants. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. Basically, this is this is a field that's sort of regulated a little bit differently than the criteria air pollutants, which are, covered by Title V and sort of regulated separately than the hazardous ones. Basically, there's an organization called the Environmental Integrity Project that did a study recently about sorry, let me take a breath. So basically, in 2015, a new law was published by the EPA that basically requires what's called Fenceline Monitoring of hazardous air pollutants.
What kind of monitoring? Say that again.
Fenceline.
Fenceline?
Fenceline. So like at the facility's fence line, they basically have to.
Oh, Fenceline with an F.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, with an F. Yes.
Okay, I got you.
So basically, they have to set up these monitors at the fence line at the facility, and they're meant to essentially tell the facility, when you get a reading of above a certain threshold, they have to go and do something to address that.
So in other words,
really specific. You
can poison your workers, but if it starts to leak out into the community, then we got to take issue with it. Okay.
Exactly that. Yes. Unfortunately, yes. But this organization, the Environmental Integrity Project, recently did a study sort of following up on that. This law that was passed in 2015 was specifically for benzene monitoring at oil and gas refineries. And they found recently, they did a study about the sort of communities that surround the facilities that had to implement this monitoring. And they found it was really, it's been very successful. They've seen a lot of marked improvement in the monitoring, and some of the sort of the instances of high benzene in the communities around these facilities have gone down quite a lot. So that's kind of what their study found. And this is Fenceline monitoring is something that's planned to be going into a bunch of different regulations sort of coming up. And as I'm sure you can imagine, industry is not super keen on that. They don't want Fenceline monitoring in there because it's really the most direct way to tell them whether they're exceeding their sort of permit requirements as far as controlling their emissions go.
Right.
So they don't want it. But we're finding now with this new way of doing things that it's actually apparently pretty successful. So anyway, I just wanted to.
I'm looking at it right now. That's really interesting. Yeah, that is. I will look into that. Because I also imagine that what it does, in October I go to the TORT conference, and these type of pollutants, in the past, the way that you sort of assess, have there been leaks, what's happened? You have to see the impact of these. And I guess by putting monitors on the fence line, you're aware of what's happening as it's happening. You don't have to have a second order or sort of a reaction to assess this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and they essentially, each rule, and this was something, you guys covered this when it happened earlier this year, but there was a sort of really big, comprehensive new rule put out for chemical plants as it pertains to hazardous air pollutants.
Yep.
And that was just published earlier this year. Of course, it's going to be litigated to death, but it does contain Fenceline monitoring, and it could be very, very impactful for the communities around those chemical plants, just to be able to have a really definitive way of knowing, if there's pollutants coming from these facilities into your community, that they not only does the facility know that it's happening when it's happening, but they are specifically required to address the issue and bring that back down below the sort of established threshold that they are set at.
But so can we just agree though that this is an incredible offense to the freedom of these corporations
Oh my gosh, it's just absurd. That, like, come on, how are we going to expect them to be able to
It's a First Amendment violation.
Yeah, come on.
I want my freedom to express my benzenes into the air, and why can't I do that?
Exactly. Yes, you're so right. You know, I hadn't considered that, but I'll spend some time.
That last conversation I had with a conservative who just called in has changed my whole perspective on this. Freedom for benzene expression.
We'll have to modify the First Amendment to get that one written in.
Well, I don't think we need to modify. That's how the founders meant it.
It's covered.
Appreciate the call.
Awesome. Thanks, y'all. Love your show. Left is best.
Thanks.
Got smart callers.
I saw somebody on Twitter saying something to the effect of, like, the problem with the majority report is that they think everything is an easy answer, like left is best. Like, they don't have to actually justify it. They don't realize why we say that. Oh, God. Just a reminder, folks, the left is best. In the wake of the Trump election in 2016, I think it happened at the end of 2016, there was vandalism in Connecticut. I think it was at a school.
At a playground.
At a playground. Somebody had put, like, you know, I love anarchy and Democrats are number one and left is best. And we were like, there's no leftists who are vandalizing a playground by writing left is best.
A Trump supporter was arrested for writing super lame graffiti to try to frame liberals.
That's what it was. Yeah. And we adopted that.
Bernie Sanders 2020, kill Trump. Death to Trump. You know, the normal things you hear at DSA meetings.
Exactly. It's amazing. The amazing thing about that is it gives you a sense of, like,
what was going on in his head.
What's going on in, like, conservative brains about, like, their understanding of what's happening, you know, anywhere else. Like, they don't understand. The amazing thing is they're all like, we're misunderstood. Flyby states, et cetera, et cetera. Conservatives are in a hermetic bubble. I'm sorry. It's just the case. It's just the case. They don't even realize it. Like, they don't realize it. They don't realize it.
The incident was caught on surveillance camera after officers released the footage to the media. Mark saw his image on the news and called detectives to turn himself in.
Oh, there I am.
Oh, crap. That playground had cameras on it.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.